My name is Banji Ajon. Today, our group will be discussing how various leadership styles affect employee loyalty. A key factor we are looking at is business performance and staff retention. We focused on our research on two well-known UK retailers, which are John Lewis Partnership and New Look. Next question to ask is why leadership? Leadership goes far beyond job titles or authority. Leadership defines workplace culture, which influences how valued employees feel and ultimately their longevity. Our goal was to understand how leadership styles affect loyalty and to compare how this plays out in two different organization structure. Our research entirely rely on secondary data from credible sources like Glassdoor employee, academic journals, companies reports, and industry statistics. Due to our early findings, we were quite clear that John Lewis' participative approach is where staff are treated by co-owners and actively involved in decision which correlates with higher employee engagement and satisfaction. On the contrary, New Look is more autocratic, top-down style, and seems to contribute to a lower staff morale and retention rates. Let me give you some background information. John Lewis was founded in 1928. Is unique in that it's own employee owned. Every staff member is called partner, giving them a direct stake in the company's success. While on the other hand, New Look was established in 1969, which operates globally with a more conventional management hierarchy, fast-paced and profit-focused. These differences between these two companies made them ideal case studies. With this foundation set, I will hand over to Nonso, who will walk us through the problem statements, the research question, and the insight from our literature review. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Banji. I am Akamnon Uchufuno, so Isaac. So now that we understand the context and why this research matters, let's dive into the problem we aim to address. Despite growing awareness about the importance of employee engagement in the retail sector, many organizations still struggle with high turnover rates and low morale. What could be the underlying issues? Often it's ineffective leadership. While existing studies link leadership to loyalty, very few directly compare specific leadership styles within real-life companies. This is where our research steps in. We've asked questions like, how do different leadership styles influence employee loyalty in the UK retail sector? More specifically, we've asked questions like, what leadership style is adopted by John Lewis and New Look? How do these styles affect staff loyalty and retention? And what practical lessons can other retailers learn from these two models? To answer these questions, we thoroughly reviewed a wide range of sources from peer-reviewed academic journals to company reports and employee review platforms. The literature was rich with insights. For example, participative leadership, as seen as John Lewis, is often linked with increased job satisfaction, commitment, and performance. Studies by Gupta 2025 and Castaldo et al. 2023 support this. On the other hand, autocratic leadership, like that observed at New Look, may deliver quick results but often leads to disengagement over time. We also identified research gaps. Few studies compare these dynamics directly within the UK retail landscape, especially using case studies. Our work aims to fill that gap. Next, Japheth will walk us through how we designed our methodology and gathered our data. Thank you.
Thank you, Nonso. I'm Ogane Tega Japheth Agumi. And to ensure the credibility of our research, we use a quantitative and secondary data approach. Our findings came from 4 key sources: academic journal and books from ResearchGate, company websites, and official reports from John Lewis and New Look. industry insights, employee review platforms like Glassdoor and Trustpilot. We use keywords like employee loyalty, retail staff leadership styles, staff turnover. Our gathering, after gathering our resources, we use three features to evaluate our work. Authority, which is how credible is the work. Relevance, how relevant it is to our case study and the research questions. Timeline, all the resources we gathered was within 10 years, the past 10 years, and it was published within the past 10 years. To evaluate our findings, we use Boeing 2009 document analysis framework. This allows us to identify trends and patterns without needing primary interviews. For instance, we compared Glassdoor ratings. John Lewis rates 4.2 stars, while New Look rates 2.8 stars. This tells us a lot about how leadership styles is perceived internally and the impact it makes on the success of the growing business. Now, let me pass the mic on to Olajide, who will be discussing the results and implementation and what they mean for retail leaders.
Thank you, Javed. My name is Teslima Kiloye Olajide. Let's now look at what our findings revealed. Across all our data sources, the evidence was consistent. John Lewis participates leadership style, foster on high employee loyalty, better morale, and stronger long-term performance. Employee feel heard, value, and empower. By contrast, New Look autocrat model may offer control and fast execution, but it often leads to staff feeling disconnected or replaceable. High turnover rates, poor grassroots review, and lower trust level all reflect that. We also analyze customer review from Transpilot and annual reports. A strong correlation emerged where employees felt loyal and committed. Customer satisfaction tend to rise. So what does this mean for retail leaders? The takeaway is very clear. Inclusive leadership pay off. When staff are involved in decision and feel part of the bigger picture, they are more likely to say, perform well, and represent the brand positively. We recommend that retailer invest in leadership training, create open communication channel, and shift away from rigid hierarchy. Finally, I will pass the mic to Damilare, who will wrap up with the conclusion, limitations, suggestion, and the future research. Thank you.
Thank you, Olajide. To conclude our presentation, our research confirmed that leadership style has a direct impact on employee loyalty and organization performance. John Lewis perspective approach. Promote trust, engage, and loyalty, all of which translate to better long-term results. In contrast, New Look autocratic method neither work in the short term by its weakness, moral, and increased staff turnover. These insights are not only relevant to our two case studies, but offer boldly lessons for the UK retail sectors. However, it is important to acknowledge some limitation. Our research was based solely on the secondary data, which means we could not include real-time employee interview or survey. Also focusing on just two companies limit how far our conclusion can be generalized. That said, this open opportunity for future research, we recommend expanding the simple sites, including primary data, and explore how those leadership styles evolve in post-pandemic retailer environments. Reference supporting our findings, including BASA 2025, we have GAPTA 2025, we have Senabasa 2023, and Bowen 2009, and organizational data from CIPD, Glassdoor, and Trustpilot. Thanks.